morning, everybody. We've got another wonderful special guest with us today, a returning family friend to Two Geeks and a Microphone. It's Mr. Tom Hutchison himself, and we're going to talk all things Big Dog Inc. today. We are excited about doing this, so it's going to be a great show today here on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
I will talk first, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are so excited that we've got Mr. Tom Hutchison back again, but we're not talking Invincible this time, even though that's what we've been talking about. And so Tom is here, just kind of hang out with us. I am Stephen Boster, your co-host, along with the one, the only, the most illustrious, the most beardiest of them all, Mr. Michael Shanks, who has disappeared once again because his internet dropped, probably.
Yeah.
Well, and guys, my entire screen just went black. So
did mine.
I may need to drop out and come back because I can't see y'all. I can hear you, but I can't see anything.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. You guys go, and I will flow with it.
Hold down the fort. We'll be right back.
I will do that because actually so did mine just now, but that's okay. I will keep going. Hey, everybody. Yes, it is a wonderful day, Saturday here on April 19th, 2025. And we are excited because we're going to be talking about Big Dog Inc. Now, Big Dog Inc. is Tom Hutchison's publishing company, and they've got all kinds of comics. And so we're going to actually go through this because we're celebrating an anniversary. And let's see here. See, now my screen went black, everybody. So can you guys hear me or see me?
I can hear you, but I still can't see anything.
Weird. Well, here, let me try this. Okay, hang on a second. And then let me go back here.
Now I got you. Yes. Did you push a button?
I did push a button. I just switched the scenes.
Yes.
I just switched the scenes and switched back again.
Yes.
So that was weird. And it says Mike is here. Here, let's try this.
It says I see it saying he's offline or something.
It does, but he's down below in the thing. We've never had this happen. How fun is that? Let's go live, everybody, and then let's see what all happens. All right. I'm gonna remove him, and then I'm gonna add him. Wow, it says he's offline. But he's down below. Mike, can you hear us? Oh no, he's not even on at all. So down there, he's frozen. So maybe he'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, I think that's just a dead box.
I think so. Yeah, we'll see what happens. He'll come back. Megan, can you hear us? We can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We can hear him in the background too. Hey, we're just having all kinds of fun today. Oh, there he is. He's back.
That was weird.
Do over.
Let's start all over again. By golly. How kind of fun is that? Oh, here's Brenda was like, I can see you all. But she was like, Michael is still missing. I love how she calls you Michael.
Like, that is my name.
It is, yes. It sounds so formal. It sounds like you're in trouble all the time. Michael.
Well, it's weird. My mom's side of the family always referred to me as Michael, but my dad's side of the family always called me Mike. So anytime I would meet people, well, what do you prefer, Mike or Michael? I don't care. Just either one's fine. I'm fine with that. Just don't call me Mikey and we're good.
Right. There you go. Absolutely.
And unfortunately, I do have a few people that call me Mikey.
That's unfortunate. There he goes. Brent's like, yeah, you're all back. Yes. All right.
Hey, we're here.
We are. Well, hey, everybody, just a little glitch here. That was kind of fun, though. See, just being authentic and real as we face all kinds of fun challenges. And see, and Tom was here for it all. We appreciate it. Tom, hey, thanks for joining us. We're so excited to really talk about all your work. I don't think we've really dedicated a whole show to it. And
Is that our plan today?
it is our plan today.
All right,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
We can do
Because,
that.
well, we really appreciate you. We appreciate coming on the show. We're kind of excited for you and all the stuff, the work that you do. And we just want to help showcase it. Maybe something you can reference for others later, or something that we
Sure.
can, well, we actually say, now we can go, hey, check out Tom's, all his stuff. We got a whole video about talking about it. So
today's all about you, Tom.
Awesome. I only had to put in 2 other shows to finally get a focus show. I had to talk about Robert Kirkman for 6 hours in order to
oh
get my
my
own
goodness. Yeah.
Hey, we got more coming up too.
Oh gosh. That's pretty funny stuff. So what we're referencing, everybody, is Tom has been able to talk about when we were talking about the show Invincible, and please go back to those shows because I love it, because Tom he has them all the books, and so we've referenced, yes, there they are. So we've had discussions with him, and I'm all about, ever since we've done that show, and I'm all about spoilers, but ever since we've done that show, guess what keeps popping up on my feed? Invincible stuff, everybody's thing on Invincible, and talk about what's coming up and what happens and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, that was like, we were talking about sensory overload a little bit there earlier before the show. And I was like, it was like, oh man, this is way too much information for me, kind of.
That's
so I'm excited.
Skynet heard you, so they have to insert.
maybe that's the fact. So, well, everyone, that's what we're gonna talk about, but we want to make sure we do our Geekdar and geeky news. And so, you guys ready to start off with the geeky news?
Sure.
All right, geeky news action. Here we go, everybody. So, this weekend, I'm excited because it's Star Wars Celebration this weekend in Japan.
I actually have not watched any of it yet. Have you?
No, I'm just watching the clips because, well, that's not true. I get it on my YouTube, and then I have it, and then I just save it so I could go back to it. And so then I go, and like 3 hours have passed by, so that I can do my Steven reverse and Steven skip through everything to just get to the things that I want to watch or want to see and stuff like that. So it was neat to see Christian Haydenston kind of open it and do the opening thing, which is pretty good. But there's been other things that have been going on. What all have you guys seen or heard? Because I've seen more on people's clips and the bootleg phones that people have that, are filming like some trailers and stuff that you can't see it. You can only see it at Celebration.
So the only thing that I really got was an announcement of a particular animation that I'm looking forward to, and that would be Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I thought about Darth you when Maul, I saw it.
Yeah, anything Darth Maul, I'm excited about. I love Darth Maul. So and I got a feeling that will actually come to fruition, just because it's animated, and usually the animated stuff happens. It's when they start talking about the live action stuff that I go, yeah, we'll see if it actually pans out.
All right.
I just don't trust them anymore. That's the problem.
Well, I do know that I did see as I said, I don't know if bootleg's the right word for it, but there already is a trailer for it, and they showed it.
Okay.
For Maul, yeah, Maul. Was it called Shadow Lord?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. But I don't like to watch those phone ones because they look terrible. You hear all kinds of things in the background. I'll wait for the official Lucasfilms one.
All those things is just screaming over video, like
right.
There's no value in that.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'll wait for the actual Lucasfilms actual one release when they do it, and it'll be out in a day or two. So
we'll do a reaction video for you. How's that
that'd
sound?
be cool. That'd be cool. Because like I said, if it's Darth Maul, I'm pretty much in. And what's his name? Gosh, who voices Darth Maul? I cannot think of his name.
Ray Park, the guy, like
No.
No,
Ray Park.
in
Ray
the
Park played
animation.
him. He
Yeah.
played him in the movie. I'm talking about the animation though.
Yeah, I see his face because he's the one who announced it.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Someone will get us. Hey, Sam's in the house. Good morning, Sam, or evening.
Sam.
Sorry.
Yeah. Good evening to Sam. Let's see. I'm trying to find it here. Anyway, while I'm finding it, go on.
That's fine. And then, well, they showed that. Then they also showed the Mandalorian and Grogu. They had and they showed a trailer for it.
Now that one I believe will actually happen.
Yeah, that one's happening. They filmed a lot already, so you could tell. So that should be fun. And then what else have they announced? They announced
the only
like
one that
8
matters.
movies.
The only one that matters. Ryan Gosling is in the Star Wars universe. What are we talking about here?
Right?
It's got to be the craziest thing I've heard in Star Wars in a long time. Is like
Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Is doing Maul.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Witwer's the voice. Yeah.
He's done
okay,
Darth
but yeah,
Maul all through the Clone Wars. Okay, Ryan Gosling as
like I guess maybe to some capacity back in the day. Like no, it's not even the same. It's not even the same. Like when Billy D. Williams became Lando, it's not the same. Billy D. was a star back in his day, but not at the level of like what Ryan Gosling is at this point in his career. I'm trying to think of like what. Okay, no. So Mace Windu probably is like the biggest star, that came into Star Wars.
Oh, Samuel Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson was probably the biggest star to that degree. Yeah. So we're kind of getting sort of that sort of a moment where like somebody that we really truly all know who the heck this guy is coming to,
Look, you know you're big when you tell George Lucas, I want a particular color to my lightsaber.
Yeah.
And George goes, no. See, green or blue are for the good guys, and red are for the bad guys. But I want purple. But see, red. Okay, Sam, we'll give you purple.
But I'm excited. I agree with you. Ryan Gosling, I mean, he was there to announce it, and so he talked about it with is it Sean? How do you say his last name? Sean Levy?
I've always pronounced it as Levy, but honestly, I think it's Levy.
Okay.
Usually whatever I say is wrong. So let's do it Levy. Yeah.
Okay, the name of the potential name of the film is Starfighter. Yeah, we got to talk about that. I mean, that's kind of really Starfighter.
Well,
but that's what those things are. They're called starfighters. X-wings and Y-wings, and they're called starfighters. So
yeah, but I mean, for a title of a movie,
I'm excited.
Is it worse than Phantom Menace? I mean,
So
see, I like Phantom Menace though. I think that's a good name.
So have you guys seen the latest Top Gun that came out?
Sure.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they did that? So that Starfighter. So I almost said Last Starfighter. That was from my kid days. I love that. I love that movie. So, but no, Starfighter. If they did it like Top Gun, like the whole thing running through the canyon and doing the missions and stuff like that. But it's a whole thing about the X-wing in action, or that'd be great.
That'd be pretty awesome, actually.
I know, but I agree.
The military used to train in Death Valley, and they actually called that the Star Wars Run or something like that.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Huh. Interesting. Now, I know that some people probably will say, when they watch a movie, you've got a big star that comes into the universe. They're like, oh, it just took me out of the movie. I didn't get that with Samuel L. Jackson. Did you? Did you guys get that?
No.
It was a little weird because I think we all kept expecting him to drop an F-bomb. Because he still acted like Samuel. You know what I mean? Like
right.
That's still Sam. But no, I think I got kind of over the sort of the starstruck pretty quick. I was like, no, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ryan would be. I think Ryan is sort of not nearly sort of that sort of understanding of what Sam does. Like Ryan is a great actor, but he's not we don't expect the F-bombs. Like, we don't have an expectation. He can become whatever. Like, he was Ken. You know what I mean? Like, who would have ever believed that would have worked in the Barbie movie?
Okay.
He's been the gangster guy. He's been the smooth talker. He's been all of the
He's been
things. So,
sci-fi.
yeah,
He
I
was,
think he was in Blade Runner. So I think that
Yeah.
he's a chameleon enough that he was just Fall Guy last year.
yeah, which that was a fun movie.
So I think
I
he's
enjoyed
chameleon enough that there shouldn't be any distraction as far as
Yeah.
like his face, in the thing. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, no, I concur. Yeah, but that's
Fair
a good
enough.
way to put it, though. Chameleon. He is a good actor. So yeah, that's good. Anything else from Star Wars Celebration anybody wants to chit chat about, or that's about all I know. That's all about all I've had time to try.
I
Yeah,
think
the
those are
Maul and
probably
the
the three
Starfighter.
most important things.
That's all I even heard. Oh, and the Grogu thing.
Yeah. They did show a trailer. Again, I did see a bootleg of that trailer, and you're right, it was noisy.
I only want to see the actual one.
When do you
I'm
think
not-
they'll release those? Like Monday or Tuesday, right after everything's
Yeah.
over?
Usually right after everything's over.
Okay.
So we won't have long. It'll be out soon.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe they could just hold it. Like there was a Fantastic Four trailer that was at one of these events that I don't know that was ever re-released. The one that had at the very end Galactus looking in the building, like you saw his eyes.
You're right. They just his eyes? No, I don't
Yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah.
I haven't
There
seen
was
that one.
Wow. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on, zzz, 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 and then at the end, like he turned and looked in a building, and it was at one of these events, and I happened to just watch that one, but it wasn't like a released trailer. It was
Gotcha.
it was weird, but I saw it and I was like, "Yo, that's
just in
cool."
the last week or two, they show the one where you see the back of his head.
Yep.
I know.
Well, and there's a new one now where he's like walking through the city and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think Celebration, they normally release the trailers they show there not long after Celebration's over. Sometimes they do it real soon. I guess it depends on how soon the film is coming out, or that kind of thing too.
Right.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Any other geeky news?
Other than we got a bunch of Superman stuff coming out to promote the new movie in July. That's all I know. DC's doing a whole mess of special Superman comics coming up. So if you are a Superman fan, you might want to check that out. This weekend they just did what was it? Superman something. I should have had this ready.
do we all get the sense that Jurassic Park is already dead? Based on the promotion and everything that's happening with the other two
Jurassic
movies.
Park
like,
was dead 30 years ago.
Jurassic Park may be DOA. Like it's going to have its week because it opens by itself, but
Oh, that's smart. That is smart. Open it without.
It's like three in a row. It's like Fantastic Four, Justice League, Jurassic Park, and then Superman. Like there's like three in a row, like back to back to back. Like I don't remember that happening in a long time for some of these movies. So it's going to be a wild July. I mean, I think they're kind of trying to create some sort of Barbenheimer thing again, where people are like screaming to get into the theaters, like let's get to all three of the movies and let's do all this kind of thing. But I mean, there's no marketing for Jurassic Park. Now, maybe they're just waiting. Maybe they just know that this is how these other studios are doing it. And as soon as they can kind of, okay, there's a gap, go, but
yeah. Good call. Yeah.
I'll bet you're right. I'll bet you that's what they're doing. Because
if they can be the last one in your mind before the movies are coming, then that might help them.
That's true. I'm not even excited about the next Jurassic Park. I mean,
I'm not either. I hated the last two, so I'm going to go see it. But I don't know what to expect anymore.
Maybe they just need to make it a slasher film like Jaws 2.
That's kind of what I thought the third one was going to be, because they're talking about the dinosaurs are just all around the world, and people are having to learn to live with it and whatever. But then that was it. They just kind of made that announcement, and then we went on with this ridiculous nonsense of, hey, let's put all the cast together, and like there's giant grasshoppers. Like, who cares? What are we doing? This is This is a dumb movie, guys.
And and dinosaurs lived happily ever after.
Yeah, apparently. So yeah,
Holding hands and skipping through the tulips.
I wanted to, but I mean, I guess they really understand that this is sort of a family event, these Jurassic Park movies, so they kind of have to understand that a lot of kids are watching them. So there's only so much you can really do, at least on screen. Like you can do stuff off screen, but yeah,
I don't know.
I think if we got a real dinosaur movie for like adults that are ready for, like, you know, watching some people get chewed up, I think we'd have $1 billion thing on our hands.
I don't know. The first one, when the guy runs off to go to the bathroom and then the T-Rex comes down.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And that was, that's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie.
Oh, the first one's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
it.
it.
So
still to this day, I love the first one.
I don't know what we're doing with the franchise anymore. I think it's kind of lost its way.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree. Well, when you start training dinosaurs, that's when I had issues. I was like, "Oh, come on. This is ridiculous. I can't train a dinosaur like a dog. This is oh my gosh."
All right. Well, everybody, let's we'll move into Geekdar real quick.
With the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not.
It's not all he's
right.
lost.
So
Well,
what's
I
on
have
your
one.
Geekdar?
I have one thing on my Geekdar. I was listening to Nerdery and Murdery last week. I'm a couple episodes behind, but and Jeff had talked about he kind of stole our Geekdar, you know.
Oh, right.
So-
Yes.
So what was on his Geekdar was a TV show called Evil.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking about it, and it's kind of this a group that's put together by the Catholic Church to go see if reports of demon possession were actual demon possessions and whether they should perform an exorcism.
This show's been on for a while.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it.
Okay.
It's in its 4th season now, I believe.
Yeah.
I had never heard of it until Jeff talked about it on Nerdery and Murdery, and I was like, "Ooh, this show sounds interesting." And I was like, "Brenda, we should check this out." So all week we've been binging season 1 of Evil, and I got to say I really like this show. And it stars the same actor who played Luke Cage, which I'm a
On
fan of.
Netflix.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Netflix series. I like him a lot, so I was like, "Oh, I didn't know he was in it. That's awesome." So he's kind of the main guy in the show, and I think it's really good. It kind of reminds me a little bit of your upcoming book, Stephen.
Yeah.
Just a little
A
different,
little bit.
a little bit different, but has some tinges of
Supernatural elements to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I watched Evil that first season when it came out. I watched it all and watched the whole season, and I enjoyed it. I have not watched season 2 or 3, but I probably should because I've seen clips. Remember me and clips. I got to be careful with that, I guess. I've seen clips of it that there's a nun who becomes part of the show, the main cast, who's pretty hysterical, and she is. The clips are great that I've seen, so I probably need to go back and get back in it. So, are you saying we're planning on doing a show on Evil?
I don't know.
On
We
the
can
show
talk
Evil?
about it. We can talk about it.
Nice. Okay. All right. All good. All good. We could. All right. I don't have anything for my Geekdar
Okay.
and everything today. Tom, have you read anything lately, or watched any movies or?
Not really. I've been.
He's been traveling.
Somehow I've reverted back into watching Breaking Bad again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Every now and then I'm just like, I think that was good, right? And then you watch an episode and you're just suddenly on season 3. Like this, it just goes. You can't stop watching it. It's so good. So I'm on season 4 of that right now. I've been kind of watching that, but odds and ends of things. I haven't been to the theater except for Captain America this year, which is really weird because last year by this time I'd seen like a dozen movies. But just that's it. I don't even know I know something's coming in a couple of weeks that I want to see. But no, it's all just kind of old stuff. I've been watching Young Sheldon again because that's on Netflix. Just kind of old stuff. I haven't been really diving into a lot of kind of what's new, but that's been me for a long time. Cause I don't really watch TV like in the like, hey, every Thursday at 9 a show is on. Like I haven't done that. I think since Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. Everything for me is like, I need to be able to binge it now. Cause when I have time, I'm going to give it time, and I'll give you 3 or 4 hours and we'll binge some stuff. But I can't be bothered to remember that it's Thursday and I have to be somewhere. Like that's not gonna work. So
it's so interesting how our TV watching has changed.
Well, yeah, we don't watch TV like that anymore. Now we watch it on whatever our schedule is. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, back in the day, you had one shot at it, and then maybe you got a rerun in the summer. When they were filming the next season, and if you didn't get it, then you didn't get it. That's it.
Yeah. You missed it. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, $6 Million Man is fighting Bigfoot. I'm not leaving the house. Like, what are you talking about right now?
Right, exactly.
Oh, shoot. I can remember when this is going to be funny. I can remember when Kiss Meets the Phantom.
Yeah.
The movie, when that premiered.
Yeah.
And we were watching it at my house, and then I don't know, something happened, like our power went out or something. And we ran over to my grandmother's house because she still had power to make sure that we could watch it. Otherwise, we weren't going to be able to see it again.
I remember when Star Wars played on TV for the first time, the original Star Wars, but it was on late, and we had bedtime. But this was the time when VCRs had just kind of come into play, and so my mom was like, "Well, it's on past your bedtime, but I'll record it." And, then you guys will have it and you can watch it later. Okay, fine. I managed to go to sleep knowing that Star Wars was playing and I wasn't seeing it. But in the morning, we raced into the room, got the tape, put it in, and played it. And we could hear it, but the video was all static. There was no video. And so something had happened in the recording process that it didn't record the video of it. And I was inconsolable.
Somebody didn't hold the antenna right. That's what it was. I don't
know what was going on, but it was such a horrible day for me.
I'll bet.
Yeah. Oh my God. I could have watched it last night. Why didn't you let me watch it?
It was years till it came out on VHS.
Sure. Yeah.
And I remember that being a huge event coming out.
That was also the impetus for me. Never again were my parents allowed to record anything. I was going to record everything. So I learned all the VCR tricks and, figured out what was going on. And so I had an epic collection of stuff that I recorded, off of TV. Every time they used to be, hello folks, there used to be a thing called the TV Guide that you got on Sunday, and you could look through what was on TV all week long. So I would get the TV Guide and I would just scour through looking for, what movies are playing, especially in the middle of the night, like 2-3 in the morning. They're playing Godzilla movies at 2 or 3 in the morning. So I was programming my VCR every day to like catch all this stuff.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so that was a big part of my early,
And then there was always the I don't have a videotape.
Yeah. What do you sacrifice for where you are right now?
What do I record over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you accidentally record over something else of somebody else's. And
what's funny is we were talking about Jaws 2 in the early behind the green room. And so my Jaws 2 experience was really weird because I caught Jaws 2 on TV, but I didn't know it was on. And I just came across it. And so it was like 20, 30 minutes into the movie, and I just slapped a tape in and pushed go. So for years upon years, my Jaws 2 started at the point where they find the dead killer whale on the beach. And I had no idea what happened prior to that because I had no way to know. And I mean, it had to be decades later when I finally saw the whole movie. I realized that it changed my understanding of the whole movie, because at that point, the shark had like a messed up face, right? And I thought that it was the same shark that had blown up from the first movie, and he just had a big scar on his face, right? I'm like, oh, he's back, and he's got a big scar where the bomb went off or whatever. But if you watch the movie, no, that's from when the chick dumps gasoline on him and lights him on fire. But I had never seen any of that, so I had no concept that this was literally like a different shark, and that whole part of the story at the beginning, I had no idea what was going on. So it was like a whole new experience when I finally got to watch the whole thing. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
See, Stephen, when you miss things, it changes the perspective.
It changes everything. Who knew 20 minutes of a movie could change
Mr.
everything?
Steven Skip.
Right? Yeah, skip this. It took him 2 minutes to go down the stairs. I'm skipping
Oh, here
part
we
of
go
it.
again.
Just saying.
Oh.
We did that. We talked about the Penguin show, and so my time's limited, so I have to be real careful or try to get the best in I can of a time. And so I was like, man, 8 hours of TV watch. I don't know if I can get it all in. So I said, well, I'll just kind of skip forward 10 seconds here and there. And I just, this whole thing, he's got to carry this body down the stairs. I was shocked that it took him here. Skip. He's still on the stairs. Skip. Oh, he's still on the stairs. Skip. He's still on the stairs, kind of a thing. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be Steven skipping through most of the series. And I did. I watched probably 8 hours of material in 4 hours. Just saying.
No, you didn't. You watched 4 hours of material in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because you skipped 4 hours of it.
That's true. That's true.
Geez.
But one thing I'm not going to skip, though, just saying, is I did find out that my theater is going to do the Revenge of the Sith.
Are they?
20th anniversary, yes.
Nice.
And so I am going to go see it.
I wish
next
somebody around
weekend.
me was getting it. Nobody here's got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. For a while, I didn't know if they were going to have it or not. And then I checked yesterday, and they said, yep, it's going to be on there and stuff. So
Here's the poster.
I know. I see. Oh, I just like, what's he doing? I was like,
That's the Blockbuster poster right there.
nice. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
You remember the promos you guys would get? Brenda brought
Right.
that one and the Batman Begins.
So,
Those are the
Tom,
two.
I used to manage a Blockbuster years ago, and yeah, that was a long time ago. And Brenda, his wife worked for me for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So yeah.
So she would.
You want a
she
weird
would bring
piece
me
of
home
deep
posters and
trivia?
stuff.
Deep
So you
trivia.
guys remember the cartoon Thundar the Barbarian?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So there's an episode in there. I think it's called Treasure of the Mocks. And the Mocks apparently live at like an old movie theater or drive-in or something. And one of the scenes where they're just running around in the action scenes, you see like movie posters in the background. One of them says Revenge of the Jedi.
Does it?
Nice.
Does it?
Wow.
Very
That's
clearly, Revenge of the Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was supposed to be what Return of the Jedi was. It
Yep.
was supposed to be called.
And then they
And
switched
actually,
it out. And there are movie posters that were produced that say Revenge of the Jedi. They're out there. You can get them. But then it was redone and became Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
and then I thought that was interesting. Then when 3 came out, they called it Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
I know. Which I
There's
thought was
also, I think it may have been the first episode of Thundar. Thundar loved the movies, man. They actually, so in 1976, they made a King Kong remake. And in that King Kong remake, they made an actual animatronic full-sized Kong
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of the scenes in New York. And it looked terrible, but that's not the point of the story.
Not back then. It didn't.
And so in this, they're in New York and they are actually rebuilding the robot Kong from that. Now, it's not from that movie, but if we all understand the timeline,
Right.
like why would there be a robot Kong in New York? Because of that movie. So they're finding all the pieces of this robot Kong and building it back together again so that it can, come back to life. So it's crazy. It's crazy what's in that Thundar TV show.
Neat.
That's funny. First episode date was 1980.
1980. Wow.
We are dating ourselves there, gentlemen.
Yeah. Thundar comic is supposed to be out pretty soon too.
Oh, really?
Dynamite is doing a Thundar comic. It'll be the first, I think, the first Thundar comic that's ever existed. So, yeah, it should be out pretty soon.
That's
I
cool.
saw on Free Comic Book Day they're going to have a new Speed Racer comic book. That could be interesting.
Huh. Right on.
You need to go to the comic book store and
I know
talk
we're.
to Ashley.
Oh yeah. I need to go ask her if she could put some of the Free Comic Day stuff in my pull or not. I don't know if she'll do it or not. We're going to be camping on Free Comic Book Day, so we're going to miss it.
When's Free Comic Book Day?
First Saturday of May.
First Saturday in May. Okay.
Yep.
I'll be back
Every year, first Saturday of May.
Nice.
Are you going to
All
be
right.
doing anything for Free Comic Book Day, Tom?
No, not this year. I'm going to actually be at Dan Mendoza's event. He's doing his own little mini con for his company, and he told me, I was like, yeah, it's Free Comic Book Day. I don't know if anybody's going to come. I'm like, you'll be fine. Don't worry. But yeah, he's doing that down in Jackson, Michigan. So if anybody's down that way, Free Comic Book Day, he's got a bunch of artists and writers and stuff for his company. A lot of them happen to be BDI guys as well. So that's what he's doing. I told my guy, I was like, look, I'm not making Free Comic Book Day this year because I'm going to Mendoza's thing. And he was like, yeah, that makes sense. So he understood what was going on.
That's cool. That's cool.
Well,
I
let's
didn't
use that
know
as-
if you'd be at an event or
Yeah,
something.
normally I'm at Comics and More in over towards Detroit. Chris Brown, I've been there for like the last 6 years, doing it at his shop. It's always super fun, and so I was kind of bummed that I kind of had to make the decision one way or the other. But I kind of felt like I needed to be at this larger scale thing, and so we take a Free Comic Book Day off this year.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But let's use that as a great segue for the main event. It's time for the main event. So now that we're like 38 minutes into the show, we keep talking about something.
That's all right. We know how my shows work. We still got an hour to go.
This is true.
That's true.
So you know what Tom's saying right now. See, I told you I could talk more than just Invincible.
Yeah, man. I got robot monkeys on the brain. I got whatever you need.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey everybody, we're going to talk about Big Dog Inc. You heard him reference it, BDI, Big Dog Inc. And there's all kinds of comics, but this is your anniversary. Is it 15?
15 years. 15 years.
So
yeah.
15 years. So tell us what it's been like the last 15 years. I mean, just for those who may be aspiring comic book artists or comic book storytellers, or people who thought, man, I thought about making my own comic book. Because I mean, you see that a lot on Kickstarter and stuff. What kind of, I don't know, what kind of, not necessarily advice, but what's your journey been like?
Exhausting. I mean, exhausting. And the world that I came into comics in doesn't exist anymore. I came in prior to Kickstarter. I came in almost prior to social media. Like social media was kind of new at the time, 15 years ago. There was a system. You make a comic, you send it to Diamond, they approve you, they sell it to a retailer sells it to a customer. It's this huge chain of things. But, even the distribution system now almost doesn't exist that way anymore. With Diamond being bought out, the guys that are coming in and running Diamond now are going to make changes. The floppy format might be changing. It's right now. Here's the advice for people that are thinking about doing it right now. Don't do it. Don't do it, because unless you are prepared to just do it all yourself and focus on crowdfunding. Because if you're trying to go through the old system, or the system that sort of we all understand that exists with the local comic shop, all of that is in massive, massive flux. So, if you're starting to put all your eggs in that basket, I think it's the wrong basket right now. But if you're willing to come in and sort of be like, okay, I understand that the retail side is bizarre right now. Let me just crowdfund and focus on building a direct audience for myself versus through this chain of things that needs to happen over here. Then you'll be okay. But really, we're moving towards a creator, sort of a creator economy now, where instead of relying on other people to sell your product, you're just selling it yourself. Again, whether it's through crowdfunding, whether it's through live shows, live sales, where you have a web store, whether you're going to Comic Cons, all that kind of stuff. It's easier and harder at the same time, because it's easier because we have social media now. Like I said, I didn't really have social media when I started Big Dog Inc. It was very minimal. And so now you have dozens of social media platforms that you can use. But at the same time, it's also very saturated because everybody's doing it. So you've got to kind of find a way for you to stand out among the noise, if at all possible. And that's really the hard part. But it's also where simple things like consistency can be the thing that puts you ahead and out in front, because there's plenty of people that can make a comic. I made a comic. Okay, great. 3 months later, are you still flapping that same comic around, or do you now have 3 comics? So if you can be consistent, you can be ahead of that wave of, masses of people that are like, well, I did one 6 months ago, but you're now like, well, yeah, but 6 months, I've got now 6 issues, or whatever. So if you can stay ahead and just be consistent, it's not about making a ton of money up front. It's about just sort of, sort of break even. Obviously time is money, and that's what you have to put into it. But if you can even just break even and keep moving forward, eventually, after a year you do this, if you've got even 6 issues after a year, you're going to be way ahead of most of the people that have been like, well, I did 1 in a year, and now you've got 6. So consistency is one of the things. And then obviously it depends on what you're actually making, as far as, what people are latching onto. But consistency would be kind of step 1.
I just did a search on Kickstarter. I wasn't sure if you had anything going right now.
No, launching in 10 days. We can talk about that campaign. But April 30th, we'll be back at our campaign schedule.
Well, I got excited because I saw Critter action figure.
Oh yeah,
it's like, oh, that's pretty cool, and she looks.
He's going to show it in the screen
here. Oh, there it is.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, we did those a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it looks like October 18th, 2024 is what it's showing here. Or, well, that says you last updated it on that date.
So in terms of being on Kickstarter, what's the best phrase to look for, to search for you? Would it be Big Dog Inc. or Tom Hutchison?
I don't know what would happen if you search Big Dog Inc., because I know that's in our, it's like in our story or whatever they call the thing. So it might search from that. But I know that if you put me in, it will find me. And it'll show either some of the past campaigns. I'm not sure how it sorts it, but if you search me, you should be, because it's in a way, it's sort of like social media. You can follow me on Kickstarter. And then that way, whenever we do something, you get an announcement of, hey, Tom's doing something. So there is that ability. Yeah.
And just to clarify, everybody, it's Tom, Tom, but it's Hutchison, Hutchison.
Right.
Good clarification there.
Yeah.
Because I have to admit, Tom, I think in the beginning I kept saying Hutchinson.
Oh yeah, no, that happens all the time. But you can look up any of our books, guys. All of our books have been on crowdfunding. You want to look up Critter, it'll pop up. You want Legend of Oz, it'll pop up. Penny for Your Soul, it'll pop up. And then you'll kind of get a sense of, all the things that we've done.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been, there's a ton on there. Sorry. You know what? I was going to share my screen because I want to show your website, which they can go to Big Dog Inc. And that actually takes you to your store. So it looks like it's a redirect. So if it all of a sudden it looks like it's redirecting on your
you're right.
screen, right, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. It's correct. It's not going to take you to some crazy.
That's correct.
Oh my gosh, I got a virus.
Yeah,
No,
we used to have a website a long time ago, like a real website. But we were using WordPress, but WordPress got all wonky in the back end of it, and so we just said, okay, let's just take that part down, hook it to the web store. That way people can, because the web store is working fine. So just let that do its thing, and then we'll worry about a real website.
You're right.
Even you made Tom disappear.
I did. Sorry, Tom. I'm bringing you back. I'm adding you. There we go.
Oh, now you made him bigger than life.
Right? All right. I'm bringing him in because I want him to be able to, so we can share the screen, but it's not, for some reason, it's not popping up. Hang on a second. I'll get this. I will get this. There it is. So we can show your thing. So we're going to Kickstarter, everybody. And I meant to do this.
I meant to do that
prior to the thing. So there we go. So do we see everybody now? Everybody should be on there. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you do a search, watch this. I'll do Tom. This is where everybody will see. Oh, let me make that bigger. Much more bigger.
Much more bigger.
So if you go to Kickstarter and pop in Tom, it still doesn't show it well, but one time I did put it with an N, and I'm like, I can't find him. Where'd he go? And then that's when I realized what I had done. So if you search Tom Hutchison, then in comics or comic books, I just did comics.
Yeah, it's all more or less the same.
Yeah. So it'll show there's 55 projects. So you've been quite busy.
Yeah.
As you said, consistency. I think that's something, because that's true even for like YouTube, for podcasting, for any kind of creation framework. You've got to be consistent, I hear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been on the show. We've been doing this every Saturday for what? 3 years?
3 years.
3 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Not 15 years.
No, not 15. We're not there yet.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different things. If you ever want to get an idea of the projects of what you've been doing, I know, Mike, you got really interested in the whole, the Legend of Oz, the Wicked West.
I got book 1 and 2. I've read book 1. I still haven't read book 2 yet, but yes, I am a fan of that one. That is really good. And I do have a couple single issues I have a single issue of Critter that Tom gave me. And what was the other one you gave me? You gave me another one. I can't remember what it was.
Maybe Ursa Minor?
Yeah, it was Ursa Minor. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about all the different characters you have. So everybody, I'm going to go to Big Dog Inc. This is to his store. And so you just tell me where you want me to click so we can talk about all of the different kind of stories.
Click on the comics button, and that'll break everything into the different titles that we do.
Hey, how come you don't have an Oz t-shirt?
Because t-shirts are a pain in the ass.
Okay.
The answer to that.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, a pain in the ass. It's why a lot of the market now, you see all this sort of print on demand stuff, because I can't sit on hundreds of t-shirts guessing at sizes and all that kind of stuff. So print on demand comes around, and it's like we just upload an image like to Redbubble or something, and then people can buy whatever they want. I want that on a t-shirt, I want that on a mug, I want that on my bath mat. Like, you can get whatever you want at that point. So those kinds of places are great, and we actually do have a Redbubble account. I know some people have bought Princesses versus Zombies pillows. I know that those exist out there because I saw people buy them. So yeah. And I need to get back into that a little more heavily. But
well, you have a t-shirt link on your site, and I looked, and it looked like most of it was Critter. Not saying that's a bad thing, but
I'd have to look at what's even in there, because I have a sense that those don't even exist anymore.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's a good thing I brought it up.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. I mean, no one's bought one, so I haven't had to worry about it. But yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the different ones that people can look at. So obviously, he's got some graded comics if you guys want them. So
Yeah,
Antoinette, or go
I
ahead.
write
Sorry.
all of this stuff for the most part. So it's just it's totally all over the place. It's superheroes, it's westerns, it's horror, it's fantasy. Antoinette is historical fiction, based on Marie Antoinette. And it's just kind of whatever. I've got a kaiju book, on and
Yep.
on and on and on. So
Here's the kaiju right here. Kaiju epic.
yep, Kaiju Epic, Legend of Oz. We do lots of little weird, fun things like that. Camp Crossover is our sort of annual thing where we take all of our characters out of their normal habitats and send them all to summer camp. So it's just parody, like 80s summer camp parody stuff. And we tie those in a lot of times with like special weird days. Because like every day of the calendar year is like a really, there's something weird going on in there. So like you saw when we were looking at Kickstarter, there was like Pillow Fight Day. Pillow Fight Day is the first Saturday of April is Pillow Fight Day. We've done things like Princess Day and Skateboard Day and Drive-In Day and Goth Day and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of tied our little parody things into some of those days, which has been kind of fun. So yeah, there's the original, and then there's actually Skateboard Day right next to it. And those are all pretty much just like short stories, little just kind of fun stuff that we worked on to just kind of break up the heavy continuity that our books exist in, because each one has its own story and it's ongoing. But it's like, okay, well, let's just take them all out of that.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Go back to the cover.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That cover is so in the 80s. Well, it's actually 1979, so it's not an 80s movie, but it's close. 1979 was a movie called Meatballs.
Yeah.
And so when we were doing this book, Jason Hayher is the artist of the book. He was working on the interiors, and he sketched that up on his own. He didn't tell me he was doing it. I didn't tell him to do it. He sketched it up,
great.
and he was like, "Hey, you remember Meatballs the movie?" And I was like, "Yep." And that's now our cover. It was as simple as that. And so I told him which characters I wanted, in the places, and then we got that done. So that's our Meatballs. Oh my gosh, what's his name? The oh my god.
Jim Belushi or
Nope.
John Belushi?
Nope. Ghostbusters, Caddyshack.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah, Bill Murray was the lead in Meatballs. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was fun. Did Harold Ramis?
He directed it.
He directed that one. Yeah.
He directed Caddyshack. Yeah.
Skateboard Day and Catnip Awareness Day. Oh, I could have clicked on that and made that bigger.
Yeah, we
was just playing around with
that one. We did in a month where there were 3 days. So you have National Drive-In Day, you have Skateboard Day, and you have Catnip Awareness Day. And that character right there is Catnip, in the black shirt. Her name's Catnip. So yeah, we did a three piece story there.
Oh goodness! All right, so there's Camp Crossover. What now? I'm gonna do. I know. Here we go. I'm gonna know that there's okay. So Antoinette, you said is the kind of the more fiction. That's Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, historical fiction. Marie Antoinette, of course, got her head chopped off back in the day, and so I had this idea of doing a gender bent headless horseman for a while, but I didn't know how to do it. And I started to think about like, well, you could just have any girl with they got her head chopped off back in those days. The guillotine was everywhere. You could just do whatever you wanted. But I was like, well, how do I like kind of tie it into something that people would understand? Who would be a famous person that got their head cut off? And I was like, yeah, duh, Marie Antoinette. So what was funny is I had that in my brain for a while. And then a friend of mine, Ryan Kincaid, put on, he made a post on Facebook where he said something to the effect of like, hey, what would we do to gender bend like some kind of, public domain characters or something like that. And somebody on that thread said Marie Antoinette. And I messaged him like within minutes. I said, take that post down right now, and let me tell you about what I'm doing with this thing. And so he and I then developed this book. He designed Antoinette. He does the interiors. He does that cover as well, which was sort of our VHS, movie homage.
Yeah, be kind. Please
Yep.
rewind.
Yeah,
Nice.
and we put that issue out. It was a Kickstarter thing that we did, and it was really fun to do. We have more plans for this, but we have so many plans that she's kind of on the back burner right now. But we definitely have plans for more Antoinette, along with some other stuff. So, and we did covers like normal with the head, and then there was always a headless version. So you could always get both versions of the book.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
There's the headless version.
Yeah.
So basically, she's your Ichabod Crane.
She's our headless horseman. But what we didn't want to do is because every time you have a headless horseman story, it's always like, oh, I got your skull and now you got to do what I want you to do. And I'm like, that's dumb. I don't want to do that anymore. So I had to find a way to bring her back in a supernatural method. But, I just wanted it to be different. And as it turns out, I found the actual transcripts of her trial and execution.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I read that stuff. And within that stuff, there were some weird things. And so I took those weird
that's
things.
Demented.
Yeah. So I took those weird things and put them in the story and used them to find a way to bring her back to life, without just like, hey, I got your head. Yeah. So I think it works really well. I think it came out good. It got some pretty good reviews to it. And like I said, we definitely have more on the way. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's
cool.
fun. Okay. Let's see. So, let's see. What else do we want to? I just want to go through. You just tell me what else you want to kind of showcase, and that way people can see it and have an eye for your work.
Yeah, you can kind of click on whatever you want. Critter and Penny for Your Soul are the two books that we started with 15 years ago.
Okay.
So those are our 15-year ladies.
Okay.
And Critter was the first book I ever wrote. When I was trying to figure out, like, how do I write a comic book? Critter was it, because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, but I understood superhero storytelling, just because I had read superhero comics my entire life. It's essentially at that point. So I kind of felt like, even though I'm learning the method of writing, I understood how to say superheroes do this, do that, and that part was sort of just ingrained in me. So that's how Critter kind of came about. And now 15 years later, we've done 30 plus issues. We've got a bunch of spin-offs. We have it's officially called now the Critterverse. We have plans for a large scale Critterverse.
That's the
attack.
issue you gave me right there.
Yeah.
This one?
Yep.
That is first full appearance of Iron Butterfly. She appeared a couple little background moments in the series, earlier on, but that's her first full appearance.
My favorite thing is that you got the second best superhero comic in the universe, and
let's talk about Robert Kirkman again.
And you use the kiss S's in it
so
too.
It's people ask me, why is she the second best, and I said, they say, what's the first best? And I said, well, the first best is whatever you think it is. Whatever you think is the best, that's the best. But after that, Critter is the second best. But the other side to that story is, for a period of time, Robert Kirkman put on the top of his Invincible book the best superhero comic book in the universe. So I said, well, if that's true, then we're second best. And so marketing it that ever since. Yeah. And it kind of plays into just the tone of the book. It's not a heavy, serious book. It's a fun superhero series. And so it's a great icebreaker to kind of get people to ask, like, okay, what is this book? Why is it the second best? And then I tell them.
Well, like I said, I also like the fact that you use the kiss S's too. So,
okay, then let's go to, so that's Critterverse.
Yeah, it's all broken out. So you have the trade paperbacks, you have single issues, you've got variant covers, kind of whatever you're looking for as far as collecting, broken out into those segments. So a lot of the original issues, though, we don't have anymore. So the stuff that you were just previously showing, that's just the handful of issues that we've got still
I still
around.
have,
So,
yeah,
but we
and
do
you
have
didn't
trade
say there were
paperbacks.
that many of them either, too.
Right,
So,
right. So we do have trade paperbacks. We'll get you all the way through the series. And that's the hardcover. That second one in, that's the hardcover that we did.
the second one here. Let me go back to.
We if you want the series, we got you covered. It's not a problem. But if you want singles, you're going to have to hunt eBay for some of that stuff to come across it, because I have one of everything. I have kept one of everything.
Well, I would hope you would.
Well, you would think that I had that in my brain back in the day, but I didn't. So there are things that I'm missing, because we just ended up selling everything and I didn't grab one. But I find those every now and then, and I'll grab one. Oh, I need that one. I need that one. So we're getting close to a complete set. But now, 100% we keep everything. But single issues go out of print. That's what keeps them collectible. And then the trade paperbacks are just available. So we can get you through the whole story.
That's
So
great.
is there anything that you're going to be reprinting for the 15th anniversary?
No. The only thing that we're doing is new stuff. Well, no, we are going to have a trade paperback this year for Oz, but everything else is new material.
Okay.
Critter and Penny both have some new material this year, and then we'll have our anthology in October, and that'll have a Critter tangent to it, because it'll have some of the Critterverse stuff in it. There's a vampire critter that we call Nosferatu, and
Nice.
so she'll be in that along with the other stuff. But it's all new material this year. And then in August, September, we're doing our first omnibus, and that'll be for The Legend of Oz. It'll be the first 4 volumes all put in one big 400-page book. So that's our plan for this year, is pretty much all new material all the way through. And then Penny for Your Soul, this was the first book that got released, even though Critter was the first book that I wrote. And that's just because the artist on this book moved faster. And so this is basically sort of a Vertigo style book about the end of days if it were to take place in Las Vegas. So a demon decides she wants to get in on the end of days battle between heaven and hell, sets herself up with a hotel and casino in Las Vegas, and offers to buy her patron souls for $10,000. Of course, heaven and hell take notice of the missing souls and come looking. And, that's what kind of kicks the whole thing off. So we've done now 5 volumes of this. We're working on volume 6 this year. So, yeah.
Okay, so if somebody is new to Big Dog Inc., where would you suggest they start?
Wherever they see something that just sort of connects with them, because we have so much different stuff that, like, if you like horror, we've got horror. If you like westerns and steampunk, we've got that. So I would say just go into the comic section and just poke around at the images and see what kind of, like, oh, like that looks cool. Like, let me click on that and see what's going on. But we have trade paperbacks for all this stuff. So if we don't have the single issues, we have trade paperbacks for all this stuff, and you can get the story. If you are a collector of, single issues, again, we have what we have. But, when you're talking about 15 years of publishing, it's not like we have backstock of this stuff, piled up somewhere. These things are long gone. So you'll have to do some eBay searches, and it's out there on eBay. I search eBay all the time just to see what the hell's going on. And some of those prices are wild, guys. I'm telling you. It's
really?
Some of those prices are wild. And that's just what it is,
Right.
And we tend to see eBay, especially eBay, kind of get active on our stuff every time we bring a title back. So like Penny for Your Soul, when we brought that back after a number of years when we were with Aspen and not doing it, we brought it back. We saw spikes on all Penny for Your Soul stuff on eBay. Same thing happened then when we did it with Oz. All the Oz books just spiked in price. So we definitely have, sort of a fan base and people that are following what we're doing. Because you can watch the market shift as we kind of come into something and like focus on it.
Well, I got the first 2 collected of Oz, your collected editions, not the single issues. And like I said, I read the first one. I love your take on it. I thought it was really cool, fun version of the Wizard of Oz. And I got the second one, but I haven't delved into it yet. So
There's so many things that are bothering me right now as you're clicking on these things. Like, what was I doing? Like, what's the hell's going on here? I'm like looking at logos and stuff. I'm like, this placement is weird. Like, my editor brain is like,
oh no,
my editor brain is just all over the place. It's crazy.
that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's too
But
funny.
that happens all the time because I go back and I look at these books that I did 15 years ago, and I'm like, oh god, like what somebody help me. I need to like George Lucas this stuff and fix these problems.
I like how you said that.
But at the same time, it's like it's also cool because people can then watch, especially on these ones that we have like a lot of issues on. They can kind of watch the series grow. They can watch my writing grow. They can watch the artists get better. Like there's a timeline of events through all of this stuff that is really kind of unique that you don't really get in mainstream comics anymore, unless you're following some particular artist. Like if you go back to Todd McFarlane's early days, what he was doing with DC Comics is not what he's doing now with Spawn. So there is that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's but then you're jumping around to all these different books to kind of figure out like what's the Todd timeline. But with us and what we're doing, it's all like just streamlined. You can just kind of come into a book and just watch it grow and watch it find its legs and watch the artist really kind of start to vibe in on everything that we're trying to do. So I think that's kind of one of the cool things about indie books is you're not just getting like a new comic or whatever. You're watching these people like grow as creators along the way, which is kind of cool.
That's really neat. I'm like going ADD looking at it all. Kind of a thing. So let's talk about genres for just a second, because you referred to it like, so Antoinette is what genre would you say? Horror? Your horror genre?
Well, it's horror, yeah, but it's historical fiction as well. Yeah, because it
Historical
is based on her real life and her real life death. I mean, straight from the transcripts of her court and all of that. So yeah, it's historical fiction / horror. Yeah.
Okay, I just purchased your Critter 10th anniversary edition.
Nice.
So
Nice.
Excellent.
So what Blue Jay, what would you classify Blue Jay?
Well, Blue Jay is a superhero thing, but that particular book is a pinup book. So it's a pinup book for all Big Dog Ink stuff, but we did that for the Transformers 35th anniversary. And we put her kind of in the Starscream pose, when she was like, Starscream was like, I'm the leader of the Decepticons.
Right.
So we kind of put her in the Decepticon pose for the Transformers anniversary. But yeah, Blue Jay is a superhero book character. She's been bouncing around, mostly covers for the most part. She had her first story in the BD 14 anthology, her first true story. And again, she's a kind of a social, we haven't really given her origin yet. But she's basically a social media superhero. She's kind of, got this superhero persona where she's like, hey, I could like be a superhero on like TikTok and, get followers and stuff. And so that's sort of the baseline of Blue Jay's character. So she's all about, social media and all that kind of stuff. But she did get her first sort of action story in last year's anthology. So
very cool.
Yeah.
What about
and then I've been using her as sort of a partner with Critter in a lot of things. So like we did a Cannonball Run homage where they were both the Lamborghini girls,
Nice.
Critter and Chloe. Chloe is her regular name. Critter and Chloe. That's the Kickstarter we're doing, in a couple of weeks. So, which is the homage to the Dirty Pair. So I'm kind of using them as like, sort of a tribute parody duo, which has been kind of fun.
Island Tales.
So Island Tales is my partner's books. I started Big Dog Ink with Stephen Smurl, and he does these Polynesian and Hawaiian fairy tale and folklore books. And he's got way more of them than this, but he just hasn't been doing it for a while. So we have this issue available, but I'm not sure what else he has available. But that was his thing, is he was doing these Polynesian fairy tale stories, which were fantastic. So
neat. Okay. Kaiju Epic.
Yeah,
Obviously,
kaiju. This
kaiju.
is our giant monster book. If you like the Godzilla stuff and so on, that's what we've got. So what we did is we took um, end of days prophecies. You know, the Mayans, the Hopi Indians, all this kind of stuff. All these prophecies that the end of days, and then we used the monsters rising to kind of start to fulfill all of these prophecies.
Oh, that's
Um,
interesting.
and so yeah, so it's written. This issue is written in two stories. The story that I wrote takes place in the Gulf of Mexico and China, and the other story is written takes place in the UK. My editor Carrie Castor, she writes the UK story. So you kind of get this sense through the two stories of the world is sort of collapsing all at the same time because we're in all these multiple locations as we're writing the story. So that book, that cover right there was done by Matt Frank, a guy who does a lot of the Godzilla stuff for IDW. So
Mhm.
he did that for us, which came out
Great
really
cover.
great.
That is a great cover. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And there's more kaiju to come, but as we did that, we just so much more. There's so much more that we're trying to do. So
yeah. Legend of Oz. That's the steampunk Western
Yep.
style that we referenced.
Steampunk Western reimagining of Oz. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the one we're going to do the omnibus for because I'm almost out of volumes 1, 3, and 4 of the trade paperbacks. So instead of just going back to print on like all of that stuff, I'm like, well, we haven't done an omnibus yet, so let's do one.
Try that,
and it'll have the first 4 volumes all in one big book, and it'll be a hardcover and a softcover.
So when you say
you're
first
telling
4
me
volumes, you're talking about the 1, 2, 3, 4 of the collector's editions?
Correct. Yes, all 4 of those. So it'll be like a 400-page book.
Whoa.
400 plus, but yeah, 400 books. Yeah.
That's going to be a big book.
Yeah, it'll be big. Yeah. It'll be like this. This is sort of the goal.
He's going to show, for those who are listening, he's reaching behind to his shelves behind his desk there, and he's pulling it out.
So this thing is like 400 pages, and it's kind of oversized as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they call these things ultimate collections. So it's a little bit bigger than a comic book. I don't know if I have a comic sitting close by. I don't, but like it's a little bit bigger than a comic, which I can appreciate because I'm old and everything on the inside is bigger,
Right. I understand that. Easier to see.
Yeah. So that's kind of our goal. That's what we're talking with the printer of like, okay, we want to go a little bit bigger. We want to do a hardcover. We want to do a soft cover. So yeah, that's sort of the goal.
Lights, Camera, Jungle.
So that was our first ever attempt at Kickstarter back in the day when we had no idea what we were doing. But we still managed to fund it somehow, including a $9,000 goal. That was our goal, was $9,000. Like what? Geez, Louise. But somehow we pulled it off. I did this with Jen Broomall. This was a thing that she and I co-created. Basically, it's a Hollywood story. So it's the story of these characters who are filming a Jungle Girl television series that was loosely based on a 1920s Jungle Girl comic book, that they're adapting, so it's sort of like a modern day thing. Like, hey, there's this comic from the 20s and let's adapt it into a thing. So that's sort of the story. So it's very sort of comedy, very parody, just a very fun, Hollywood style story. But then again, there's 2 stories in it. So you have that story of the actors, but then there's also a second story, shorter story in the back that's sort of like the episode that they filmed. So you get
that's kind of cool.
The Jungle Girl adventure story, and you get sort of the Hollywood jungle story as well.
That's neat.
Neat.
That's a unique concept. I like that.
Yeah, Jen. This was Jen's first full interior drawing stuff. She had done an annual for Critter, like an 8-page thing earlier, but this was her first full-time, do it all book. So it was really fun to do. So there's our Spider-Man 300 that we were talking about earlier.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's an homage to Spider-Man issue 300.
Yeah.
And do you have the Critter Spider-Man?
No, long gone. I had one of those not too long ago that I found in a box. Somebody bought it for $75, like immediately. They were like, "Do you have that?" I was like, "You know what? I do." But it's gonna be $75. He was like, invoice me right now. So, okay.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
And then I see you have your own Jaws, basically.
Yeah, that was going to
from
be
the water?
this year. We were going to try and tap into the Jaws 50th anniversary this year, but because of what was happening with my mom, we had to push some things back. So I didn't want to, it was just going to be too hard with the artist and all that. So,
Gotcha.
but this is basically, I've always had an idea of what would Jaws 5 be in my head, and it's just been there for so long that I have to get this out. So
Sure.
it uses all 4 films. It is obviously parody / fair use, whatever. I've changed all the names. There's no
To
Amity
protect the
Island is
innocent.
now. Yeah, Amity Island is Harmony Island and stuff like that. So
Nice.
we do all the things we need to do to make it our own, but it is clearly inspired by that series. So
Right.
and the folks that I've kind of pitched it to and said like, what do you think about this idea? And they were, oh, that's really good. So I'm like, I think we're going to have something cool. And that'll be out next year. We'll do this next summer, and that'll be our first ever original graphic novel. So we're not going to release that as singles.
Oh.
It's going to come out as one big 100+ page book at one time. So yeah,
Nice. Ooh.
another little experiment that we're going to do.
Yep. Here's Penny for Your Soul. We've already talked about it.
Yep.
There's your 5 volumes.
Yep.
Volume 1, War. Volume 2, False Prophet. Joan of Arc. Volume 3, Death. Volume 4, Pestilence.
Yep.
And
then this year in
editions.
June, we'll be launching what will be essentially volume 6, essentially because of Joan.
Yeah.
It's a Mary Magdalene focused book called 7 Demons. So that's what we're doing this year for the 15-year anniversary. Is we'll be doing 2 40-page issues, one in June and then one in November, to celebrate Penny for Your Soul. Yeah.
Nice.
And this is the book, man. This is the book that people just come racing for. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think people just key in on the angels and stuff. Like, it's just, I think there's a visual sense to it. But people also like the story, which is great. I have, I don't know, I don't want to say minister or pastor or whatever, but like whatever those, from whatever denomination it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's guys that come from the religious side of things to cons, and they like to talk to me about this book. So the fact that's happened, Billy Ray Bates is someone I met at cons, and she's very into the religious side of things, and she loves Mary Magdalene. And so when I told her that Mary Magdalene was in the book, she thought that was fantastic. We did a Mary Magdalene one shot that she actually did like a foreword to. So like the religious world likes this book, which is kind of wild to me. But it's also kind of cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Different anniversary edition. So it looks like you're out of your volume 1 collectors.
Oh, I've got to put that in there. Yeah, that's the old one. That's the original printing. We did a new printing of that just a few years ago. So I got to put those in there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So if anybody's looking for Penny for Your Soul, I'll have those volume 1s in there today. If you want to start at the beginning, I'll fix that.
Right on. Very cool. Okay. And then Princess versus Zombies.
That is our surprise out of the blue hit. It was a book that came about because I kept telling people that I don't like zombies stuff. And they were like, what? Like, no, I was like, Walking Dead is crap and, all this. So over time, it just became like, okay, so if you were to do a zombie thing, what would you do to make a cool zombie thing? And I said, I don't even know. And one time I was at Baltimore and the question came up again. And I said, it would have to be something just completely outside the box, like princesses versus zombies. Like that's literally what came from. Yeah. And then that night we all went to Hooters in the Inner Harbor, and it came up again. And I was like, yeah, princesses versus zombies. I had one of my artists there, Jesse Wichman. And he was like, yeah. And I could see him kind of like already vibing on it. And then like, I don't know, a few months later, I messaged him and I said, do you remember that Princesses versus Zombies? He says, yeah. I said, do you want to like design some princesses for this thing? And we'll like, so the idea was we didn't even have a book. I didn't know what the story was. I didn't know anything. I was just like, let's just make a princess fighting zombies and let's take these things to Comic-Con as an art print a big art print, and just see if people even care about what we're showing them. And he was like,
That's
yeah,
not a bad idea.
yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'm in. So the first one he did was Cindy, and we took that print to C2E2, and
Okay.
uh, and people lost their minds. They walked up to it. They were like, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, that's Princess versus Zombies. It's this thing that we're kind of working on." And they were like, "Where's the book?" And I said, "Well, there's no book. We just have the prints." And so we started selling those prints, and then we did Mrs. White was the second one. We took that to another con. Same thing happened. They were like, "Where is the book?" And so, we ran through all of this. And so that year, that was 2020, that year for October, I produced this, what you're looking at right here, the Zero issue. It's just an 8-page attempt at, what this thing would be. We literally did a 69-hour Kickstarter campaign, and it was a monstrous hit. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. And so, no, it wasn't 2020. That was 2019. It was the end of 2019, because in 2020, that was COVID. And we had been working on the book. We were going to launch it in April, right as COVID was starting to go crazy. And people were like, well, you can't launch a thing right now. And I was like, oh, you watch me. And so we launched it, and it was our biggest Kickstarter of all time. And we were off to the races on this crazy book. So, and there's stuff that I have now that's not even on the website yet. So I clearly have to get myself caught up on some of these issues that we still have. And we did a Zero, an 8-page Zero, a full-sized number 1. We did an 8-page 1.5, and then we did a full-size number 2. So that's kind of what we've been, kind of working on right now. So, and there is more. Oh, and then we did introduce Jasmine in the BD 14 anthology, so she's in that. And then we're going to have the sort of the breakout. I didn't expect this, but every time we talk about the book, people talk about her. So we have Pocahontas in the book, but
I think Stephen clicked on one of the Pocahontas.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, but she's Pocahontas if she was a vampire. So that's sort of the shtick of Pocahontas. And so people have really vibed on her. And so she's going to have her own story in the BD 15 anthology in October. Yeah.
Nice.
That just makes me think of the book series Alice in Zombieland.
Sure. Yeah.
I love that series.
All right. So what's is this
Very cool.
Cerusis was our well, so this is where I started really in all things comics. The image isn't popping up, huh?
Yeah, there's 3 of them there.
Yeah, that's weird. So Cerusis was a game that a friend of mine and I created for ourselves. Basically, we were big wrestling fans back in the day, and so we created a game using clay snakes. So they were wrestling snakes with clay, and we would just roll out things and stick hair on them, and whatever we wanted to do. So we had this wrestling world, but then of course, all the wrestlers, they also do their interviews, right? So we had to start writing these characters to do interviews. So I actually have comic books that are essentially just these wrestling interviews of these snakes talking to each other and whacking each other with their tails and stuff. And so, but from those interviews, that then started to grow this entire world that they lived on. Why are snakes wrestling? Why are we doing? And we started to try and explain all this stuff.
Please tell me you had a snake pit like Roddy Piper's.
Well, yeah, we had interview segments just like that, 100%. Nice. Yeah. And then that just built out the world, and the world kept expanding and growing and whatever. And so we attempted to put this on paper, and we got through the first 5 issues, and then we stopped because we went over to Aspen, and we never got to finish the 6th issue, which was going to be sort of a giant-sized finale for the series. But we never got to finish it. So it's a very kid-oriented thing. It was something that, like, if Disney were to pick up and run with it or whatever, it's ready-made to be an animated series or whatever. Owen Gianni was the artist on the series. He did a great job. It's a huge eclectic cast of people. There's an old movie director and his his leading lady. We have Kayla right there, who's just this lost kid, who's just trying to find her way through everything. Then we have Darren, who was a caterer on the movie set. They all basically get abducted by these snake aliens to bring back to Cerusis. That's the name of the planet that they all live on, to help them, fight off this invading lizard army. There's the lizards right there. And that's sort of the general gist of it. And then along the way, they end up getting magic powers through ancient amulets and all this kind of stuff. But it's kind of a comedy, animated series, put on paper.
That's awesome. All right, this one is
Scheherazade. Yeah, Scheherazade was something that we built with somebody else. He had an idea for something, but it wasn't really fleshed out how he wanted it to work. And so I just kind of took it and started running with it. Like, okay, and we came up with this idea for Scheherazade, this storyteller. But again, we didn't really have a hook. It was just a storyteller telling weird stories. And then my wife at the time, she came up with the idea of, again, sort of like Antoinette, right? Like who's a known storyteller? Well, Scheherazade was a storyteller. She's 1001 Arabian Nights, all this kind of stuff. So we were like, well, why don't we make her Scheherazade and sort of lean on what we understand from her while telling our new methodology of her story. And I was like, yeah, that's freaking great. So this also came about the time of Sucker Punch. You guys remember the movie Sucker Punch?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
we're all coming out of Sucker Punch like, okay, there's like schoolgirls fighting samurais with Gatling guns, and there's dragons and biplanes, and what the hell is going on? And so we thought, how can we do that sort of imagery, but there's a reason for all that imagery to be slammed together versus just let's just do it, So this is hard to talk about because we don't want to kind of spoil what is going on inside of it, but it is massive genre mashups. Like in the first issue, there's like giant bats flying off of aircraft carriers, and then later on, she's got that sci-fi, bikini style gladiator outfit when she's in like a normal like Roman gladiator place. So it's massive mashups, and that's J. Scott Campbell. He actually designed that for us too.
Cool.
And did the covers. So yeah, this was a huge event for us. This was our biggest selling book ever at the time, and thankfully we got to finish that first 5 issues before we went over to Aspen too. So we got to tell that first arc. And there's
Steven, go to that first one.
This one,
yeah, that almost gives me Vampirella vibes.
Yeah, she's got that kind of that dress thing going on, and then you can see all around her. That's all the sort of other versions of Scheherazade from her lifetime and her stories and stuff. So
okay.
This was a big thing for us.
Wow.
It went off amazingly. It was our best selling book ever. Insides were done by Mike Crome, who is a fantastic artist. Yeah, this is but there's only the 1 volume, and then Nia Rufino did the art for a standalone. We brought the book back a few years ago using one of the alternate versions of her from one of her stories called The Geisha in King Arthur's Court. And so Nia Rufino did the art on that 1 issue. But that's it so far. That's all the Scheherazade. So we got to get back to it.
Cool.
So that's one of
you
Mike
are
Chrome's
planning on
covers.
continuing that then. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another J. Scott Campbell cover there. Yeah, we already have like the next, I don't know, 3 volumes planned out on this, but it's
Nice.
tricky because we have to do this in a way where all of our storylines have to be able to be organic and flow into each other, because that's the way that the series is set up. So the next arc was a combination of a science fiction story where one of the moons of I think it's Jupiter or Saturn. One of the moons of Saturn has a thing called the Scheherazade crater on it, and so we tell you why it's called the Scheherazade crater. But that's also at the same time blends with a story from the Civil War, um, with with the not sorry, not the Civil War, going back to Custer's time, so like the Indian Wars, with also legends of the Thunderbird, and a piece of history that we found that has been, again, going back to Antoinette, right? We're big into history, so we found this little unique piece of history, that is heavily disputed, which makes it even more fun. And so we took that little piece of history and added it into this thing. So you have this sci-fi thing and Indian War thing that blends together, to kind of tell this one kind of cohesive thing. But that's the hard part of it, is trying to make all this stuff work together like that.
Yeah. What's Ursa Minor?
So Ursa Minor was our first horror title. It's I've always been vampires and werewolves and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
there was a time where I came across the term Ursa Minor, which I had heard before. This is a constellation in the sky. But for whatever reason, when I heard it that time, I read it literally. So Ursa Minor is, little bear. And I started to think, like, what does little bear mean? Like, what is that? What could I do with that?
Oh, that's a nice cover.
Yeah. We did horror movie homage post covers for all 6 issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably don't even have them all on there. We don't, but
They're all sold out.
Yeah, but I don't even. Some of them aren't even listed there. But
I
like
see
that
what you
one,
mean.
there's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there's Creep Show, and so on. Yeah.
Buffy.
And so I had this little bear term in my head, and I just started thinking to myself, what can I do with little bear? And my head just snapped into sort of the werewolf realm of, like, things turning into bigger things. And I thought, I could have something turn into like a big bear. So I could have like a little thing turn into a big bear. And I was like, I could have this like girl turn into this big freaking bear. And that's kind of what kicked the whole thing off. And then I had to create a reason for it. And what are we doing here? And so basically this is 2013 is where it starts. The president-elect is assassinated on national TV by werewolves, which of course, makes the world go like, oh, these things are real. And so the werewolf hunts start, and the vampires realize that they're just going to get stuck in this whole thing as the werewolves are getting hunted. So they out themselves voluntarily and say, look, we'll take care of this werewolf problem of yours. Just leave us out of it. The first thing they do, however, is go and wipe out all of the werebears. We won't tell you exactly why. That's part of the story. And the last of the werebears is, of course, Naomi. That's our star, who is the little blonde girl who turns into the giant, bear. And so her and her friends, every night they go out and they wipe out a few vampires, but they realize that's a numbers game that doesn't work, because vampires can just bite more people and make more vampires. So they have to figure out a way to kill vampires in bulk, and they figure out a way to do that. And that's that first volume.
Huh. Cool. Okay, so what would you say your favorite character?
Critter.
I had a feeling that's what it was.
It's not even close. I love all the stuff that we do, but yeah, people ask me that all the time. What's your favorite thing to do? And I grew up with superheroes, so to build my own superhero world, especially now that we're so deep in it, that we're really kind of getting to play around with it. It's fantastic. I love Oz because I love Oz in general, but I love the ability to modify it into a Western. Like, okay, I need this to become a Western thing. Like, how do I do it? And that's really fun to do. And I've told people, like, it's almost too easy. It's almost like Baum wrote a concept that is so strong from a character standpoint that it doesn't matter where you move them. If you ground them in what Baum intended them to be, it doesn't matter what you do with them from a world standpoint. Dorothy is still Dorothy. The Scarecrow is still Scarecrow. The Lion is still the Lion, even if they are in space or in the Wild West. So it became really easy almost. And I've told people, like, give me a character and give me 10 minutes, and I will tell you how they exist in my world. And we've had that challenge a few times, and I've always found it. So it's a lot of fun to do. So there is that. And I've also been, Penny for Your Soul is a very, I've always been interested in theology and all that kind of stuff. So that's got its own place for me. And, the shark book, I love Jaws. So we're going to make that. I love Godzilla. So we made a kaiju book, but, Critter is my first book. She was what brought me to comics. And that'll always be the top.
Very nice.
Okay, you said give you a character and you'll figure out how to put it in your world. Okay, any character, like
any Oz character, like you can't tell me put Han Solo in the Wild West. Like, no, we're talking about, like, okay, if there's this character in Oz in the books, in whatever capacity.
I think you've hit them all now, haven't you?
Oh, we're not even close. Not even close. Like, I have a book here that's called Who's Who in Oz. It's like the old Marvel Who's Who, right? I have a book that's Who's Who in Oz, and it's like this thick of just character listings of stuff, because you have the original 14 Baum books, and then you have, like, Ruth Plumley Thompson wrote like another 20 books, and then you have on and on and on and on. So I mean, it's endless. But even just the Baum references, I'm still finding stuff that I'm just like, I don't even remember reading these things when I read the books. So it's crazy, well, how much stuff there is. But that's also, again, part of the fun part of it is, so one of the things that we did is we have the gnomes that we brought into Oz, which that's just part of the Oz thing. But as I was reading about the Gnome King, he always had a like an advisor that was called the Long-Eared Hearer. That's it. He's just the Long-Eared Hearer. He doesn't have a name. He doesn't even really have like a description or anything. He's just the Long-Eared Hearer. And so I was like, how do I do that? What does that even mean? But then again, because I understand Oz as a whole, as a universe, I realized, oh, you know what? Down south in Oz, there's a place called Bunnybury, and so it's where the rabbits live. And now in the Baum books, they are literally just rabbits, but I modified them to be like rabbit people, essentially. And so I created the Long-Eared Hearer to be from Bunnybury as one of these rabbit people. And then we let our Patreon folks name him. I gave them a list of names, and they all got to choose his name. So his name's Beauregard, and he's the Long-Eared Hearer, who's the, connection to the Gnome King. So it took a little while to put all of those weird puzzle pieces together. But now, in addition to that, he is now a direct connection to what we did in the BD14 anthology, which is introducing Allison to the Oz world. Everybody get what I just did there?
Ta-da! I hear it. Yes,
Allison and the rabbits.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's now officially a part of our Oz canon as well.
That's awesome.
So Beauregard has a connection to both worlds. Yeah.
So yeah, my wife said donkey, long ears. She's a big Wizard of Oz fan too. So
that's fun.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm not as deep in the universe as you are, so I don't know what you have hit and what you haven't hit. So.
Yeah, there's people keep asking for Polychrome, who's the rainbow girl, and I'm like, did you read the book? Because she's already in there, so go find her. And then we had the other one that I would always get asked about is Princess Langwidere, who is the chick that can take her head off, and she's got like 30 other heads that she can interconnect. And I would get that question all the time.
That's quite disturbing.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. And they would be like, "Oh, you can never put Princess Langwidere," because she's like a big villain, like sort of like a Doctor Doom thing. And they were like, "Oh, Princess Language, Princess Language." I was like, "What?" And so I'd always be like, "Well, yeah, maybe." And then we finally got to the story where we revealed she's been in the book the entire time. And
Oh.
so people kind of lost their minds there. They were like, "Oh my God, she's been here all the time." So yeah, so that was fun to do. That was really fun to do. Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah.
That's funny. Brenda says rabbits actually make more sense. Gnomes are
it.
usually in a garden, and rabbits are too.
That's true.
That's it. See, it
That
all
is it.
worked. It all worked. You might have to take a minute to fit pieces of the puzzle together that aren't necessarily supposed to go, but then they're there, and it works really, really well. It's great. That's the fun of creating stuff. Is just creating it. That's great.
Yep. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. See, now he's back. Click, click. He disappeared and he came right back.
This didn't happen. We did our test the other night.
No. Well, Megan's been on the whole. I don't know. Megan, have you disappeared any?
I haven't, but it's refreshed a couple of times.
Ah, gotcha. That's funny. Well, hey, we were now at an hour and 41 minutes. So an hour ago and 2 minutes is when I said, "Oh man, we were already 38 minutes in," and Tom said, "Don't forget,
I got another hour."
Oh my goodness!
So Tom was right.
So Tom, when's your Kickstarter? 2 weeks, the 30th.
Yeah,
right?
the 30th here. In fact, I'll do this for you guys. I'll share this image here. You can show
Do we
it.
get an exclusive?
Ooh.
There you go.
Here, let's do this. We'll add it.
So that is Critter and Chloe, like we just talked about a little bit ago. So that's Critter on the left, Blue Jay, Chloe on the right. So it's the 40th anniversary of the Dirty Pair anime this year, which for those that don't know, they're basically a team of girls that are like space adventure detective people. And so this is a little 8-page tribute to the Dirty Pair. To Adam Warren's story. He's been adapting the Dirty Pair into comics for decades. So there's a little bit of Adam Warren tribute in there. And then this, of course, is an homage to J. Scott Campbell's Danger Girl cover that he did many years ago. There was a chromium cover that he did. So we did a little homage to J. Scott Campbell in there. So this whole thing is just tribute, homage, super fun. And it'll be launching on the 30th along with some of the other covers. So there's a general basic cover, and then there's a bunch of basically convention exclusives. Like you can see the C2E2 logo there. So we're taking some small portion of our convention stuff, and they'll be available to you early on the Kickstarter. And then obviously you can get them at the cons if you're coming to the cons too. But yeah, that's what we're doing on April 30th.
Cool.
Very cool. Okay. And so just find you on Kickstarter for all that. Then?
Yeah, like I said, you can look me up. That way you can follow me on Kickstarter, and you'll get announcements whenever we do a thing. Kickstarter will tell you Tom's doing another thing, or as of April 30th, you can just type in Critter, and it'll probably pop up right at the top. But yeah, and again, you can follow me on social media if you want to kind of keep track of what we're doing. Facebook is kind of where we do everything first, and then it filters out to Instagram and TikTok and wherever else. And then we do a Patreon as well. So if you're interested in kind of learning how we do things and watching it sort of happen in the background and getting all the exclusive first looks and exclusive offers and so on, it's patreon.com/Big Dog Inc. And
I got that. Hang on.
We've got 40 people hanging out in there. Yep. We got 40 people hanging out in there. So they get to see, and like we said, they get to vote sometimes on things that we do. Like they all named Beauregard, and they actually all named Chloe as well. They picked her name. So yeah, so we get the fans some integrated into what we do, and you get special offers. And of course, if you are a Kickstarter backer and a patron, we do things called Patreon perks, which have been in the past like original art sketch cards that you just get because you're in both places. Sometimes we do special metal cards. Sometimes we do special comics. So if you are a patron and you back our campaigns, you get Patreon perks.
That's cool.
Ooh. Very nice. Okay. I made sure to. Here. I'll share this again. See if it pops up. It may not, but it may. It just may. I still have it up. Dun, 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 dun. Give me a second, everybody. I don't know why it's taking me so long. There we go. Oh, we lost Tom though. I know we can still hear you. Sorry. So if you go and just Tom Hutchison, and then so just click follow or follow. If I unclick on follow, but then hit follow, and then they'll get notification when it's going to hit on the 30th. Just as a reminder, it's probably not a bad idea. Uh huh. Uh huh. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great. That is actually I didn't even realize they did that. So that's good info.
Yeah, it's new. It's been for about 6 months. They've had that. Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, so that's one of the things with crowdfunding. It's like, I don't know who these people are, and like, am I going to get anything if I spend money on this? And so, if nothing else, they have that little vetted thing now that if you do see that, you are 99%. You know that I mean, obviously things always can happen in the world, but 99% that person is going to fulfill for you.
That's nice. Right on.
Well, now Kickstarter is designed to where if they don't complete it, your payment doesn't go through, right?
No, you get paid. The payment goes through as soon as the campaign is done.
Oh,
as long as it funds,
Gotcha.
then the payment goes through, and then it's just up to the creator to fulfill whatever it is that they're trying to supposed to do. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they all do.
Well, we do. We've done 60 some campaigns or whatever it is, and we've fulfilled them all. So yeah.
Well, I know you have. Everyone that we've had on our show that's done a Kickstarter, they've all fulfilled it. So.
They've all fulfilled, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, hey, I got to wrap things up because, wow, we've gone an hour and 47 minutes and 36 seconds. Oh, gosh. Well, Tom, thank you for joining us. Hey, thanks for your time just to walk through, just your store, the website, so we could see what you have and spending time talking with us about it. Because I know there's been some questions about it and all the stuff you do. I thought we probably do need to have you just on where we just talk through all of your stuff. And it's always a joy to have you on the show, too, by the way.
Well, I appreciate it. It's always fun to have some time with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. So, see, and we barely talked, maybe 1% we talked Invincible, but we'll have other things we'll want to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't talk. Yeah, we hardly.
Listen, I am eternally connected to Robert Kirkman because of the second best superhero universe thing. So it's fine. It's fine.
Oh my goodness. But I'm sure there's all kinds of other things we can have you on and stuff like that. So everybody, just as a reminder, you can go to his website at Big Dog Inc, BigDogInk.com. And that will take you to the store where you can see everything that we walked through today. It'll take you through there so you can kind of start looking. And then also make sure you go to his Kickstarter. Look out Tom Hutchison, HUTCHISON, and then put that in there and then click on it and then follow so you can get the updates for the upcoming Kickstarters. As you can tell, he's done a ton of them. So he's all got kinds of things going on and stuff. So be sure to check that out. And then also, once again, if you want to help support him on Patreon, even Patreon just /Big Dog Inc. with that. Anything else, Tom, that we need to remind everybody about how to find you?
Yeah, well, we're going to be at Motor City Comic Con in Detroit in about 3 weeks. And then a week after that, we go north in Michigan to Traverse City at C4. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm in New York for Ozstravaganza in Chittenango. So those are my next three things in the coming month.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, with that, we'll probably need to wrap up the show, everybody. And so make sure you check us out at our website at www.twogeeksmic.com, the number 2geeksmic.com. Or if that's where that hub for all things Two Geeks, you can get there to anything else. If you want to reach out to us, our email is show@twogeeksmic.com. If you don't find you will go directly to our merch page. You can go to www.twogeeksmicmerch.com. But if you want to support us, instead of Patreon, we actually use Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/2geeks. And you can just buy us coffee. We've got some really cool, fun stuff on there. And we just released Mike's audiobook to his The Immortality Code is on there. You can buy it. If you're a supporter already, you can get it as part of being your support. Or if you just want to buy it out or support him, a minimum of $5. $5 or more. If you want to give any more than that, you're more than welcome to do that. All right, Mike, anything else?
The only thing I got left is make sure you go and like and subscribe to us on Facebook. I try to post funny memes there, or any upcoming any information about upcoming episodes, and such as this one. As when we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest. And we are live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Had to think a minute there.
You haven't had enough caffeine this morning, have you?
No. Well, I mean, I did have one coffee before we started, and I had a nice big iced coffee while we were drinking. Which, we need to wrap up. So,
right on.
All right. So, with that said, please do not, Steven, skip this episode because we are much more better than the rest.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
May the force be with you.